Thank you on behalf of all of the guests of the kingdom. You have made this a magnificent event, not only this time, but from the first time 9 years ago. So we want to give you our best wishes and thanks for many decades more of bringing us all together in this wonderful kingdom. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Robert. To me, you're not just a business partner, but a friend. And thank you for doing this.
Thank you, my friend. So let's first start and talk about Saudi Arabia's extraordinary progress. You know, when you think about it, the majority of the Vision 2030 goals are on track, have been met, and in some cases exceeded. And it's been just a spectacular thing to witness and be a part of. And at the center of that transformation stands the Public Investment Fund, among the largest and most influential sovereign wealth funds in the world. So today I'd love to explore that journey, how the PIF has evolved from its early developmental roots into a true engine of diversification and global competitiveness. We want to hear what you've learned and what comes next. So let's begin with the early years. Before 2017, the PIF's role in the kingdom's economy was quite different. It was primarily focused on developmental mandates, creating national champions like SABIC, and to provide loans to stimulate growth. And then came a spark, a broader vision, initiated by the Crown Prince to transform the PIF into the kingdom's new economic engine. Can you take us back to that moment? What inspired the shift from developmental leader to transformative global active investor?
Thank you, Robert. This is a really great question. And PIF started back in 1971 with a great vision then, which is how to build a nation. And of course, to build a nation, you have to work on the developmental aspect. So when it started, they started establishing many companies, including SABIC that you alluded to, including the Saudi Railway, including most of the banks. They were part of most of the banks. And their mandate was very limited to the developmental things. They, of course, gave a lot of loans to most of the industrial complexes that basically led the growth in Saudi Arabia. Now, in 2015, you mentioned the spark, and yes, it was a spark. The Crown Prince thought PIF can do even more and better. Remember, back in 2015, the PIF assets under management was $150 billion worth. Today, it's almost triple that number. Our target's actually to take it to $1 trillion by the end of this year. We're very, very close to get there. The idea that the Crown Prince had, we need an economic engine for the country. And the best suited for doing so was definitely PIF. Was it suited then when he had the idea? Of course not. We had just few people working there, and they were just maintaining the assets. But what he wanted to do is to get the developmental in a faster pace. And the only way to do it is to first have the right people. Second, have the right processes, systems, governance, framework. And the third thing, which is the most important, is to have the right proposition. What is exactly that the PIF should do? Should we continue doing what we've been doing? So we went through a full diagnostic about all the things that we've done, and then we started with a kind of a benchmark exercise looking at all the sovereign wealth funds around the world, and just to see their mandate and what is exactly that they're doing. And then, of course, we found a huge gap between the two, between what we used to do and what the other sovereign wealth funds are doing, and what is it exactly that we would like to achieve.
Right.
So the first notion was how to be a nation builder. The nation was built, but we had so many sectors were not in existence, and we had a lot of sectors that were dormant.
Right.
So that was the main change or the paradigm shift between pre-2015 and post-2015. And of course, it was all coming together once we finished our first strategy back in 2017.
Right. As you thought about these dormant sectors, and as you thought about what sectors, looking at the gaps you wanted and needed to establish, what were the activities that you all had to put in place? What were the processes? What were the policy dynamics that you would have to now drive forward to create and enable these dormant industries to come back to life, or to even build, in many cases, completely different industries that didn't exist here before?
The build-up phase started with PIF. We had to rebuild it to fit the purpose.
Right.
And then in our first strategy back in 2017, and we announced it, by the way, with the first FII back in 9 years ago, we said we want to see the sectors that are dormant or not in existence, and we found 10 of them. Of course, under each one of the sectors, there are subsectors. So we started creating or establishing these companies, trying to bridge the void or the gaps that we had. So that was the initial phase from 2017 until the end of 2020. And then we started with the next program, which took us from 2021 until the end of this year. I can go into details, but before we do so, I just want to mention one thing. Vision 2030 was established around the time of us finishing the strategy in 2017.
Right.
And I think as part of the Vision 2030, PIF program was there. And to my mind, I like to think about it, is that the PIF was the cornerstone for the Vision 2030. We put all of our KPIs, all of the things that we want to do. I remember, this is not just a work of one person or two, or it was like hundreds of people were involved. And I won't even say I'm exaggerating, maybe potentially thousands of people from different ministries, from different institutes within the government and outside the government, trying to figure out what is it exactly that we would like to achieve to see ourselves in 2030. Where do we want to go? So it's like some people say maybe it's like a chicken and egg, but maybe it is, maybe it's not. But one is complementing the other. We are working to achieve the Vision 2030. So there was so many sectors and companies. We have established so far close to, or maybe even surpassing 100 different companies. These companies varies from giga projects like NEOM to Camel Milk Company, or the coffee company, the Safe Company, which is security, to participating actively in aqua power, activating the AI through Humane, activating the manufacturing, the advanced manufacturing through Alat, Murabba, the Roshan. We looked at all of these sectors and tried to fill in these gaps.
What's been amazing is not only the transformation, when you look back 9 years, to see how you all have built out a highly capable organization in the PIF, highly trained, capable people. And I remember many times seeing the 24/7, 365 attitude that your teams would display every day in the work that they were doing, measuring themselves, evaluating what they were doing, and really driving forward. And when you look back, 9 years, what we see is you all have created globally over 1.1 million jobs, the vast majority here in the kingdom, which is fascinating. Over 10 industries. You went from creating companies to creating ecosystems. I'd love to talk a bit about the company to ecosystem transition and how you plan for that. I mean, these are some real lessons that governments can now think about in inculcating in their planning processes. The spark of the idea to building the nodes and then now building out entire ecosystems of major industries. It's amazing. Love to hear more about that transition.
Yeah, I mean, back in 2015, we had less than 40 people working for PIF. Today, we have over 3,000 people. That's a big jump. We have our main office in Riyadh. We have offices in New York, London, Paris, Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and we have regional offices in Egypt, in Jordan, in Muscat, and also in Manama. So you cannot do all of this, grow with this exponential kind of growth with just doing things on ad hoc basis.
Right.
You cannot only find the right people. But we did.
Yes.
On top of that, we did find the right processes, governance, and everything else.
Right.
So it was a big journey. And I remember I was, from the early days, fortunate enough to be close to the Crown Prince and saw how hard and how long he was working every day, even weekends. And I remember asking him after a year or two, when can we take weekends? Say, don't worry, it's another maybe year or two or three.
Right. Yes.
And I'm still asking him the same question every
Right.
day. So this kind of culture trickled down
Right.
from him to most of the ministers within the government, including me, and trickled down from me to all my executives and the people who are working within PIF.
Right.
We need to do things, and we to do things fast, efficient, and we need to have to make the impact. So maybe that's the evolution. Now, I just have maybe a sneak peek, if you will, from our next strategy, which will be announced hopefully very soon. We're in the final phases of closing all the approvals, and it was a long journey. Where we were pre-2015, after that until 2020, and from there until the end of this year. And the next question is, where do we want to go from 26 until 2030? So we looked at the mandate. What are the mandates for PIF? Are we just a nation builder? Are we nationally aligned investor and asset optimizer?
Right.
Or are we a balance sheet diversifier? So if you want to think of it as a matrix of 3 by 3, these are the 3 verticals and the 3 timelines, the 20s, the 30s,
Right.
and the 40s. So it's not a secret. We are now a nation builder.
Right.
We want to move in the 2030s to be a nationally aligned investor and asset optimizer.
Yes.
And hopefully in the 40s, we want to have the balance sheet diversifier. So that's what we're trying to do. I'll just give an example of clusters and ecosystems. So the proposal that we have from 26 until the end of 2030 is 6 main ecosystems. The travel, tourism and entertainment as one ecosystem, urban development and livability, advanced manufacturing and innovation, industrial and logistics, clean energy and renewable infrastructure, and NEOM as its own ecosystem. So this would help us in prioritizing our capital deployment with the timelines. So we don't want to go to all and every investment all with the same priority. So I'll just give an example of the advanced manufacturing and innovation. King Abdullah Economic City, Cake, was always part of our portfolio, but we had a minority there. Now it's increased to a majority. The company has been there for more than 10, 15 years, or maybe potentially more, but it was dormant. And we got it across the line to make it more active by bringing in the ports, the automobile cluster, and many other things.
It has been a spectacular journey. You have brought the world to the kingdom, and we're excited about the initiatives to now take the kingdom to the world. Thank you, Your Excellency. It has been an absolute delight being a partner, being a friend, and thank you for hosting us all.
Thank you. That was great.